Our second learning module, Turning the Skilled Trades Classroom into a Business, features Elyse Burden, the co-founder of Real World Scholars, a nonprofit that builds technologies to connect young learners with people and communities around them. The organization's EdCorp platform allows classrooms, kindergarten through high school, to explore entrepreneurship and operate as a business. This is something that skilled trades courses in particular are well positioned to do. In fact, EdCorp has a formal partnership with Harbor Freight Tools for Schools through which skilled trade students in Pennsylvania, Missouri, Tennessee, and California can learn what it takes to create an online enterprise and sell the things they make. But as Elyse shares, there are some fundamentals that any skilled trades teacher can use to help their students develop a business, and in so doing, bring learning alive in the most authentic possible way. That is, by serving real customers. Among them, setting up the right structure with the right students in the right roles, allowing for ample creativity, but balancing that within a set of common sense constraints, keeping careful track of your results, and accepting that failure can also be a great teacher. Once again, if you'd like to dig a little deeper into the topic of turning your skilled trades classroom into a business, you'll find additional material in our resource library. You can click ahead via the main menu and use this added content to help you answer the relevant application questions with even more insight, or you can just explore it later as you wish.
Entrepreneurship has a funny way of engaging us at a deeper level, right? Because it connects something within us to the world outside of us. It requires us to ask, what do I have to bring? What's my idea? What's my value? What resources do I have? And then what's out in the world? What do other people need? What do they want? What are they looking for? And in a way that actually compels them to pay me money for something. That's really the powerful piece here. It's not just, I did something, it's incredible, do you want to look at it? It's, did it actually meet your needs? And the grade is really, in that moment, is, can I convince you to trade me value for it, right? Whether that's money or time, right? Then we're building mutually beneficial relationships. Mutually beneficial relationships where young people can look other people in the eye, right, and have a transference of ideas, of voice, of value. Those are leveling and empowering in a way that we just don't see in a lot of other parts of education. Entrepreneurship has that authenticity baked into it, that it's not something that we might do later down the line to make this project more authentic. At its very baseline, we're creating something, we are offering it to the world, and we are working alongside the community around us to figure out, like, does it work? And how, if it doesn't, how do we make it work better? That iterative process is really important, and having people on the other side of the table look across at you and kind of keep you checked in and accountable to that process, knowing that there are other humans on the other side of your design process, I think that's really powerful for young people. They take their work a lot more seriously. And so all of the questions that might be relevant should be asked at this stage. Is there a need for this product? Is there an interest that we have in making this product, right? We need to look at that combination, or rather that intersection between the value that we're offering and the people who might be paying for that value, and figure out, does it make sense? Can we reasonably make this product? Are people willing to buy this product? Do we know where to find those people? I often think about a couple different angles on that product creation kind of phase around, is there an opportunity that we can capitalize on? Is there a passion that we think that we could reasonably share and monetize? Is there a problem that needs solving, right? All of these come at that intersection from different directions, but the intersection needs to be there, because if it's just something that you want to create, then that's not going to work. It's like something that you create on your own is not a business. That's just a hobby. And a few things kind of have risen to the surface in terms of factors that can be really kind of catalysts for success. The first one is that the classes that kind of go further faster, we say sometimes, those people have they've gone out into their community looking for those who want to help. And that help can come in a lot of different shapes and forms, right? It might be a business down the street that wants to be your first customer. It might be a board of advisors who's going to help you grow your business. It might be, a new wholesaler who's going to give you a cheaper cost of goods so that you can lower your own product prices, right? Like, there are a lot of different opportunities for young people to be creatively and critically thinking about the people in their communities and the types of support they could offer, right? And I think oftentimes these community members, like, they're excited to support classrooms in a way that isn't just putting their name on like a baseball plaque, right? They want to engage with young people. They want to engage with their brilliance and their work. And this gives them a really cool opportunity to do so. So as a teacher, as a classroom, thinking through who is in our ecosystem, who is engaged in similar types of work, who do we know that might have skill sets or expertise that we're looking for, and start reaching out to those people. One of the biggest mistakes that teachers can make is thinking that they have to do it all by themselves. This is an amazing learning opportunity for young people to have to sit in front of a computer or a phone and figure out, what do I say? What's the ask? How do I pitch them, right? Identifying these individuals and actually like kind of taking that brave step to go reach out and build relationships with them, that can be a really energizing part of this process, because suddenly people are looking across the table at your students as peers, as people to invest in. And that can be just a really empowering opportunity for students. And so the first thing I would say is reach out into your ecosystem, see what's there. Those people want to support you. One of the other things that comes to mind is classroom culture. Over and over again, we've seen classes struggle through that initial process of, transitioning from classroom how maybe it used to work to classroom as a business. And, a lot of students, it's not an easy transition for them either. Before, they were sitting in classrooms being told exactly what to do or exactly what to produce. They were given an end goal. And the entrepreneurial process couldn't be any more different, right? The end goal is always moving, and we're just getting closer to it with each iteration, each failure. And so the messages, the classroom structure, the role of the individual student, that's all different in EdCorps or an entrepreneurial classroom kind of setup. And so thinking through your classroom dynamics and who can own what parts of the project will be really important. This is a really cool opportunity for young people to start to explore what their own skills and interests are, and ask themselves, how might I contribute to the business? You might be in a welding class, and so of course everyone is learning welding, but you might have incredible storytellers or salespeople or really logistically minded individuals who want to apply those skill sets to the business. And when you can divide your classroom into some relevant groups and people who can take responsibility for different pieces of the business, it gives those young people an opportunity to try on these jobs, try on these roles, and see, does it fit? Does this feel good to me? And if it does, it gives them the opportunity to then hone those skills. And overall, what it really does is it creates a sustainable structure that can actually run the business, so that it's not one student or the teacher on the weekends making sure that everything gets done. That's a surefire recipe for burnout. And so for a sustainable business that's really rich in learning and enjoyable for everyone involved, making sure that there's clear kind of ownership and delegation will be really helpful. One of the best pieces of advice that I can give a teacher is to get okay with being wrong. Not only will it free you, it will free your students to experiment and explore and look for learning without the fear of failure. The iterative process, the entrepreneurial process, is all about unearthing everything that won't work and then finding a more creative solution, getting closer to a solution that will work. Oftentimes what we see is classes want to hoard their ideas until they're perfect. They're so excited about their idea, about their business, about all of the work that's gone into creating this thing that feels like theirs, that they're not willing to ship out into the world until it's perfect. And if I can give any words of wisdom to teachers and students who are engaging in the entrepreneurial process in their classroom, I would just say there is no perfect. There's no perfect, there's only done, and there's only like ready for feedback. One thing to be aware of is meandering creativity. Sometimes teachers will say to their classroom of 30 students, what do you all want to create? Like, the world is our oyster. And then 8 months later, haven't committed to a product yet because with 30 different wildly different students with all of their own ideas, they can't come together and find a consensus on the one thing that they all want to get bought in on. And so if I can encourage a teacher towards creative constraints, giving your students some guardrails that can help can help them narrow in on a product sooner rather than later, that will ensure that you can get through the process of kind of launching, so that you can gain some of that learning that only comes with that iterative development. While we're developing these new kind of strategies for measuring life skills, we're seeing a lot of cool models that are emerging in everyday classrooms with innovative educators who are asking these same questions. How can we do this differently? So I think there are definitely some ideas to explore around self-assessment and student grading that have been really interesting. Enrolling young people in the creation of their own goals and outcomes and the measurement of those outcomes have actually, in some of the classes that we've seen, deepened their own accountability and commitment to their learning experience. When we talk about entrepreneurship in the classroom, we often get asked, like, so how do I know it's working? Like, how do we measure this? What are your assessment strategies? And it's a good question, because we know that whatever you call them, process skills or life skills or soft skills or 21st century skills, we know that there's a really big challenge and a growing conversation about the best, most authentic and human way to gauge how young people are cultivating these skills. At a baseline, we talk about entrepreneurship as a way to support academic success, right? We know that all of those skills are going to come with it, but we also know that we have to make the case, and that as a teacher, you have to make the case. And that's why the way we position the EdCorp's model and entrepreneurship generally is a way that supports your existing goals as an educator. And so when you're looking at your business or you're making the case to your administrator, being able to say, my students are more engaged, and we can tell that by all of the traditional methods of assessment, that should be a powerful story that we can tell. We've seen that across our cohort. 86% of students report being more engaged in their classroom experience. And if 86% better engagement doesn't result to like deeper academic outcomes, then you can fire me.